Hi, my name is Chau, and this is the second excerpt to my new book, I Brag. I'm going to continue with Chapter 1, and this will actually end Chapter 1. Here I go. Like most little girls, I grew up wanting the fairy tale. I wanted Prince Charming to sweep me off my feet and whisk me away to a life of love, stability, and family. I had it all planned. I would go to college, become a doctor like my first-generation Chinese-American parents wanted, marry a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, also like my parents wanted, then have perfect babies and live happily ever after in a perfect house in perfect suburbia. This was all to happen by the time I turned 30. Don't get me wrong, though. By that summer, on my 30th birthday, I did find gratitude, my first taste of it, and I wanted more. The picture I painted was a far cry from that of a little girl's fairy tale. It was one random brush stroke on a blank canvas after I savagely tore down the picture that existed before it. I had begun my journey to be free. I wasn't a goddess yet, though. I didn't even know the meaning of the word. It was July, and I had just signed my first lease on my own. It was a little basement apartment, nothing fancy, nothing spacious, not even that bright, but it was mine. I was on my own for the first time, and I felt no fear. I was driving a brand new car, also purchased on my own, and shopping for new things to decorate my new space. I became a regular at IKEA, Target, and Home Depot. Everything I bought was cheap, to go with my cheap rent, because starting over was expensive. I had left with only my personal belongings and had given him the few assets we acquired, but in turn, I gained a lifetime. I was grateful for my freedom. Even the most badass of independent women, though I didn't know I was one yet, need someone to lean on in tough times. And yes, I turned to an old friend for help. Kenneth and I had been friends for 20 years. I trusted him. I thought the world of him. But I was naive in thinking that we could be more. This friendship, this shoulder to lean on, wildly flung me into an awakening of senses much more quickly than I could handle. It was as if I crashed into him and was left in pieces. From the neon lights of Las Vegas to the peaceful shores of San Diego, I felt sensations I had never known before. I discovered phone sex, and I learned the pleasure derived from reading naughty thoughts and writing them. He gave me my sexuality back. For that, I am grateful. I paid a hefty price for it, though, as I discovered that he projected his insecurities onto me like vomit. He wanted to keep me in a box. He told me so. The worst I've ever felt about myself in my adult life was because of him. I brag that we are no longer friends. Then there was my adventure with a new friend, a special friend. I explored a new side of me and tested the waters. I didn't know what I wanted and was so consumed in my tumultuous affair that I let the passion overtake who I was. Still, though, my roller coaster ride with James taught me who I could be. Because of him, newfound confidence allowed me to just live and revel in my freedom. My erotic nights with him were what started my bragging. He was the first person in my life to make me feel like a goddess, and in turn, I took him beyond what he knew, when it came to women and when it came to himself. Our time together, though unconventional, taught both of us what could be, and confirmed for us that, sadly, it could never be. He infected me with the Mr. Big syndrome. During this time, I also discovered that I could lean on a unique group of women, the sister goddesses, all of whom were on their own journeys as well. Through Mama Gina's School of Womanly Arts, I learned things about myself I was too afraid to realize, and embraced what it meant to be woman. I expressed my desires. I sought pleasure. I stood in my strength. By sharing my own experiences, thoughts, and feelings with other women who may have known the same, I moved past my fears and uncovered truths about who I am. I was alone and independent. I was a single woman living in New York City, successful in my career. I was beautiful, I was confident, I was fearful, I was brave, I was sad, I was happy. Most importantly, I became aware of this: I am more than that. As I was given tools to help me along this journey to become a goddess, I was selective with what I would develop and shape, resist and reject. To my delight, I was provided with a forum to express my thoughts and feelings through writing. We were given an online community in which we shared the goings-on of our goddess lives, and with each electronic post came words of encouragement from other sister goddesses. It was an invaluable safe space. My most treasured takeaway from my time with Mama Gina was bragging. In a matter of weeks, my entire view on bragging had changed. Who are we kidding? Bragging is considered bad, right? Always has been. No, not this time around. Bragging was encouraged. Share your brags. Be proud. From tangible material gains to figurative emotional awakenings, I bragged, and took pleasure from doing so. It was enlightening. And then there were the uprights, the comments left on the brag posts by other sister goddesses, giving you acknowledgement, encouragement, or virtual high fives. Those words danced across the screen like energy shots. We leaned on each other, and I quickly found myself developing a fan base for my posts. There were goddesses who followed my brags like a good novel. Granted, the stories weren't always sunshine and roses, but the sister goddesses loved following my journey just the same. Every once in a while, I would post something sad or angry and wallow in my virtual gloomy swamp for a little bit. I was overwhelmed by the kind words I'd receive in response. I could yell, I could swear, I could question myself on everything good or bad in my life. It was okay to do so in my swamp. It didn't matter what I wrote. I just always felt better afterward. My collection of brags and swamps grew and grew. The spectrum of subject matter was vast, and nothing was off limits. I've gone into delicious erotic detail about my sexual adventures, and divulged fears and negativity I never thought I would. I included love, hate, shame, and everything in between. I brag that I was living the best time of my life and was able to share it. Timing is everything, and once I was at a place where I could receive completely, someone came into my life to give completely. One day, out of nowhere, Anthony appeared. I was still a new goddess, so I struggled with how overwhelmed I felt to be loved, but I was as transparent as I had ever been. I had reached my destination on my journey to be free, so it was time to start a new journey, which is the one that I'm on now. And of course, like a goddess, I've been bragging along the way. All of this writing, bragging, and swamping has been therapeutic. These are my post-divorce man adventures, and they have helped me grow as a person, so I am grateful. It has been a long journey to get to where I am today, but what I am today is a goddess. Who I am today is me, eyes open, 77. Because my eyes are wide open, and I see who I was and who I can be. I never thought that a simple screen name could hold so much meaning, but it has. I live to love, I love to laugh, I laugh to live. I brag. And that's the end of Chapter 1. Until next time, thanks for listening. Good night.